ultimately, if all of our clinical trials continue to move forward and are successful, then this could be the first oral disease-modifying therapy that has an indication to treat both relapsing forms of the disease, but also progressive forms of the disease.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Immunic Chief Operating Officer, Jason Tardio. Jason, very good to meet you and Happy New Year. You joined Immunic about 6 months ago in July last year. Tell us about your start, how the first months went, and what made you actually join Immunic.
Yeah, well, Happy New Year to you as well, and thank you for having me. It's been a wonderful 6 months. It's been, as you can imagine, a busy 6 months. It's a dynamic organization. There's lots going on in Munich. Wonderful, wonderful things. Advancing our lead program in vidofludimus calcium. Certainly continuing work on our second clinical program in IMU 856. But as with any new company, the first 6 months have really been taking the time to meet as many people within the company, and also, engage with the external community as well, engage with investors, engage with business development partners, engage with patient advocacy organization, and just getting up to speed. But it's been a wonderful 6 months, and the first 6 months have confirmed my original thesis for joining the organization. This is an organization that's rooted, I think, in three principles. First and foremost, it's got a differentiated pipeline. I've mentioned our lead asset in vidofludimus calcium, which really has the opportunity to transform the multiple sclerosis space. Our second most advanced asset, IMU 856, is a unique target. It's a modulator of sirtuin-6, which could have applicability across a variety of different GI conditions, including celiac disease, where there's currently no available treatments. And so a truly differentiated pipeline. But it also has great leadership. The team, starting with Daniel, with Hella, the three founders of the company, but just the broader organization. This is a organization and a team that's very strong, very capable, and really focused on the right things and advancing our programs and hopefully getting medicines to patients. And then the third part of the equation, if you will, as to why I joined, is just this is an organization that has its priorities in the right place. It's a patient-centric organization. Again, as we've mentioned, we're developing medicines in areas of high unmet need, because the ultimate goal of not only our industry, but certainly our little company, Immunic Therapeutics, is to impact in a positive manner the lives of individuals living with disease. And so it's been a wonderful 6 months.
2024 had several exciting milestones in store for Immunic. Could you walk us through the highlights, please?
Well, yeah, it's been, again, a very, very successful year for the company. I think the most important clinical development that we've had over the course of the year is that we announced a positive outcome from the interim analysis of the phase III ENSURE program. So this, again, is two ongoing programs investigating vidofludimus calcium for the treatment of relapsing forms of multiple sclerosis. So this past October, the Unblinded Independent Data Monitoring Committee confirmed that the trials are not futile. And this is important. They recommended that we continue the trials as is. This gives us a strong signal that we've powered these trials correctly. We've designed these trials correctly. And we believe that those trials are headed in the right direction. Throughout the year, we also expanded our scientific and our medical footprint specific to vidofludimus calcium. We had the opportunity to attend a number of the major medical conferences. We've published a number of key articles and papers. We've presented a number of key posters with very interesting data, again, at a number of these medical conferences. We've held two R&D days where we've had the opportunity to educate the investor community about all the wonderful work that we're doing. And I think most importantly, from a multiple sclerosis perspective, we're continuing to increase our visibility as an organization, our visibility about what vidofludimus calcium could mean to patients. And so that's been wonderful. I think in addition to all that's been said, we strengthened the management team and strengthened the board of directors. We appointed a wonderful wonderful, wonderful addition to the team, an already very strong team. A woman by the name of Simona Skarjanik joined us earlier this year. She's a thought leader in brain health. She has extensive experience in commercializing and helping to drive strategy for a number of the major multiple sclerosis products. So her insights will certainly prove valuable as we move forward. And, earlier to kick off, if you will, the year, we announced a three-tranche private placement totaling up to $240 million in capital. And the initial $80 million of that tranche was exercised at closing. So we're in a good position from a financial base. And again, those are just a few of the minor accomplishments that we've driven in 2024.
Well, 2025 is supposed to be a key year for Immunic from a program standpoint. What can we expect, Jason?
Well, it's going to be a very important year for the company, and we believe certainly a pivotal year, starting with the most important catalyst event, which will happen in April of this year. We will read out the Caliber study. The Caliber study is our ongoing exploratory phase 2 study looking at vidofludimus calcium 45 milligrams in progressive multiple sclerosis. And this study will address both aspects of progressive multiple sclerosis, so primary progressive multiple sclerosis, along with non-active secondary progressive multiple sclerosis. And this is an important study, number one, because there continues to be a huge unmet need in progressive forms of the disease. On the relapsing side of multiple sclerosis, there's over 15 available therapies. But on the progressive side, there's really only one currently approved therapy that's used on a constant basis, and that's a medicine by Roche that's approved for primary progressive. So there's nothing currently approved for non-active secondary progressive MS, and we'll read out the top-line data from the Caliber study in April. So we're anxiously awaiting those results. And then, of course, based upon the positive interim analysis, as I've mentioned earlier, and the ongoing ENSURE programs, we will continue to drive forward the ENSURE-1 and the ENSURE-2, which are our phase 3 registrational programs for vidofludimus calcium at 30 milligrams for relapsing forms of multiple sclerosis. Those are on track for completion of enrollment. Enrollment is going well, and so we look forward to reading out those respective programs in 2026.
Jason, could you remind us what makes vidofludimus calcium so special? How do you think it could differentiate you in the MS space?
Well, vidofludimus calcium is a unique product starting at its mechanism of action. It is the first dual mechanistic approach to address the full spectrum of multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is a disease of neuroinflammation. It's also a disease of neurodegeneration. And so to have a successful medicine to address, again, both relapsing and progressive forms of the disease, you need a medicine that's a potent anti-inflammatory medicine, of which vidofludimus calcium is. It's a highly selective inhibitor of an enzyme called DHODH, which has a proven mechanism in relapsing forms of the disease. We know, based upon our phase 2 emphasis study, that it has a strong effect on inflammatory outcomes in the disease, including reduction in focal MRI activity, reductions in clinical activity, and certainly dose-dependent reductions in a biomarker of neurofilament light. But as I mentioned, beyond anti-inflammatory effects, you also need a mechanism that's going to address neurodegeneration. And vidofludimus also does this, because in addition to being an inhibitor of DHODH, it's an activator of a nuclear receptor called NER1. And this mechanism is proven to be neuroprotective. And so we have strong initial insights from the phase 2 Caliber study. As I've mentioned, we reported results of an interim analysis of the first 200 or so patients of that respective study. And we saw really, really strong reductions in neurofilament light, which is a biomarker that can help predict potential future clinical activity. And so we remain very, very optimistic about the medicine based upon not only its mechanism, but as I've mentioned, the clinical data that we've reported to date. And if the medicine is approved, we believe it's going to have a profile that will be truly differentiated within the oral disease-modifying therapy category. Each of the currently approved medicines have some safety trade-offs, and they have black box warnings for serious infection risks. They have black box warnings for hepato or liver toxicity. They have black box warnings for increase in malignancy signals. Vidofludimus calcium, in addition to, again, the wonderful mechanism and the great data that I've shared, is also a very safe and well-tolerated medicine. And so we believe it's going to provide a benefit risk profile that's unlike any of the currently available oral disease modifying therapies. And so we're excited about this program. And ultimately, if all of our clinical trials continue to move forward and are successful, then this could be the first oral disease modifying therapy that has an indication to treat both relapsing forms of the disease, but also progressive forms of the disease, which, again, which the community needs, and we're quite excited for.
Well, Jason, I'm sure this is the first of many conversations we're going to be having this year. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
That's Immunic Chief Operating Officer Jason Tardio.